Guardians of the Galaxy's opening box office, Last of Us Remastered, Ebola. These things have nothing in common, but
Yeah, whatever.
Pizza, beer, and chicken wings. All these things I threw up just a few hours ago, but
Yeah, whatever. Cause this is my United States or whatever. And this is my United States or whatever.
right. Welcome. This is what's today? Today is Sunday, August 3rd, but anybody listening to this will probably be listening to it on August 4th.
yes.
So anyway, welcome to any potential new listeners. I think we're being linked on Bloody Disgusting this time for the first time ever, and that's neither bloody nor disgusting, but it's pretty cool.
We can get there.
We can. We'll work our way around there. But yeah, so
Yes.
for those of you unfamiliar with the show, it's Justin and I. I'm Don, and he
I'm
is
Justin.
Justin. This is Whatever with Don and Justin, and we call it Whatever because we literally like to be able to have wiggle room to discuss anything at any point. And mostly we're gamers, so we talk a lot of video games
Yeah.
and bad B movies. And
Oh yes.
I think the bloody disgusting audience would appreciate that. But uh, so anyway, so we also talk, music sometimes, and we'll go out of our way to get people on sometimes that aren't completely known to anyone, just because.
The shy guys.
Yeah, but
We
they
all
might appeal to us in some way. Or
we
whatever.
we also love the room. So if you hear us
The
quoting it all
Room.
the time, yeah, just go with it.
Okay. He means Tommy Wiseau's of the Room, by the way.
Yes.
Not
Tommy
the
Wiseau's-
Steam game, which you warned our listeners prior to Bloody Disgusting not to buy last week because it's apparently
This is
horrible.
Not Tommy.
It's not Tommy Wiseau, that's correct. So anyway, this week we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. God, we have a lot of stuff like to get to, like and no, seriously, Guardians of the Galaxy's opening weekend was a surprise to a
Phenomenal.
lot of people. Uh, I haven't seen it. Justin hasn't seen it, but
I wanna see
honestly, I want to see it too because the word of mouth that I've seen from this movie, just on my Facebook wall, is nauseating because
Crazy.
people are literally saying it's the best Marvel movie ever made, and they're just going crazy over it. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why it did so well. I don't think it was expected to do quite as well as it did. It made almost $100 million over the 3 days. I think it made like 37 or some odd million, 39 something million on the
Just
first
give
day
me a little
alone.
piece of that. Just give me a little bit.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Is I think it was especially surprising because it was an August opening, and August openings are usually. I know there was a point in time where August was known as the graveyard shift, kind of for
Yeah.
movies. Where they would kind of dump all the movies they didn't think would make money back.
Hey, you see that one? Yeah, put
Yeah.
it in August.
Right, exactly. So like I know, like Freddy versus Jason opened in August. So, like there's a
love
lot
that
of
movie, by
things
the way,
I do
but
too,
okay.
but there's a reason it opened in August. So anyway, because
So what is your
so
theory here?
my theory is that it's well, first of all, Marvel they've been on like a hot streak lately with a lot of really high quality products, right? All their
Yes.
movies are
They've been getting better and better.
they have really. And I think fatigue has kind of played a role into this one because we have Iron Man 3 now. We have the Avengers, which was just like another sequel to all the other movies together, like we have the second Captain America coming out this year. We had another Spider-Man out this year that makes
Yeah.
5 total. We had another X-Men out this year. What is that? 5 total, I think. So like every other superhero series from Marvel is on sequels now and multiple sequels a lot of times. And this one's fresh. Like it's not something a lot of people are familiar with. I don't think. I know it's a popular comic and it's been out since like the '60s, I think, but I'm not really familiar with it. And
neither.
I know a
And-
lot of other people that are not familiar with it either.
And I think you're right. I think it's the aspect that it's something. It's Marvel, obviously,
Mhm.
but it's a brand that hasn't really been marketed very much before. And
Right.
for a kind of comic book like this, that's granted, the what's popular in comic books and stuff, is completely different from what's popular in TV and movies, etc. But the fact that they took a chance on this and they made it a full blown movie.
Right.
Because when I heard about it, I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good reason. I also think it's because when have we had a really good like fun space adventure movie?
That's another thing I thought would play a role into it as well. Like every other movie in the Marvel universe so far has taken place on Earth, aside from sections of Thor, I guess, or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like every movie's grounded in a familiar area, basically. Like we're familiar with Earth and its rules of gravity and all that stuff. You know, like whenever you get off the planet and you go someplace fantastical, which is like imagination zone, basically. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's completely it's complete escapism, and you get to just kind of leave everything behind and just go on an adventure with these movies, and that's
I think it
basically
also helps that there's two characters that are actually like CG.
and oh good, I'm getting messaged on fucking Steam now. Sorry, let me close Steam down because
God, Don, what's your
sorry,
problem?
my bad.
We're trying
Anyway,
to make good first impressions, and you blew it.
good first impressions, fine.
Chicken, Peter, you just a little chicken.
Cheep, 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 cheep.
Talking about good first impressions. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll quote the room from time to time. I just happen to have a big sound bank
I
of
know. There should be. We should actually start making rules where if you do certain things on the podcast, you're punished and you have to talk certain ways throughout the rest of the duration.
Don't touch me, motherfucker. Get out.
sorry, explicit
Yeah.
content. Whoops.
Yeah. You have to talk like Tommy the rest of the podcast.
That would hurt my brain. I would have a hemorrhage.
You're tearing me apart, Justin.
Oh hi, Mark. Oh hi,
Anyway.
Justin. So yeah, you're right though. It's completely original, but yeah, it has two CG characters. I think Vin Diesel probably was the main draw. Because
Oh, yeah.
people like him as a root.
You know, I also want to give credit to Chris Pratt. He lost a lot of weight and buffed up
Yeah,
big time.
he's good at that because he has money. But that's the thing
Yeah.
is, it seems like it was a fun movie, I think, too, because
Yes.
they marketed it number one, first and foremost, with humor. And the
Mhm.
trailer was hilarious, and that was one of the things. And they played that goddamn trailer, God, months on end in movies. But anyway, so yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, and that kind of rubs off, and then word of mouth catches, and that's it. That's history, and that's the best kind of marketing, right?
Yeah, it definitely
first and
is.
foremost want to put out a good movie, and kind of just works itself out, except Avatar. But hey, you can't all be winners.
No,
So
you can't.
so
You can't.
yeah, so that's why I think it did so well. Now it didn't do like it didn't shatter records or anything. It might have done some August records, but it didn't break box office records. But still, it did surprisingly well, and good for them. Congratulations, guys. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it's as good as I've been reading, and I'm not disappointed, and then I can have faith in my friends again. So anyway, moving along, you played this past week a little bit of The Last of Us remastered on PS4.
Oh yes.
Uh, so what are your impressions of the remastering job that they did?
Really, I think that they did a fantastic job. I mean, the smooth frame rate really rocks. I switched it to 30, and it was kind of just like, ugh. I mean, granted, it's I can get used to 30, and I think 30 solid frames per second is acceptable,
Right.
but 60 is preferred, obviously.
Yeah.
But
In
it looks
most
really
cases.
good. It looks really good, and I mean, I don't know if you've seen the photo thread on Gaff, but I mean,
No,
I've
stay
sat
away
and
from
taken
it.
photos as well.
I've stayed
And
away
it-
from it because I don't have the game, and I
Yeah,
would
that's
be
true.
I
Yeah,
would
you
run
kinda-
out and buy it immediately, and I don't want to.
You're
right
just
now.
running to like a friend's house taking pictures with your Kodak. I took pictures.
Look,
It's okay.
look at this tree. It looks so realistic, and they'd be like, Don, that's just a picture of a tree.
Hey, that's your friend's
Outside.
hand.
Yeah, I'd be like, shut
Hand
up.
sticking out.
That's
Yeah.
that's The Last of Us remastered. What are you talking? Look at the shadows. That's the 30 frame per second shadows.
30. The funny thing about it though is, I think out of everything that's like on the
Yes.
system on the PS4.
Yeah, is a remake.
Well, no, but
It's a
I think
remaster.
My two favorite games on PS4 actually are Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition, and now Last of Us. So it's kind of like Yeah, I'm still waiting for the heavy hitters.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of like remasters and stuff right now, but I
Yeah.
don't I don't have any problem with that. I
No, I
mean,
don't either.
Abe's Odyssey HD looks pretty great, and I haven't played that either, but
The Metros where you get both of them, that's a good deal.
yeah, that should be a good deal. Shadow Warrior's coming out next month. I mean, you got
Yeah,
all
that
these,
was awesome.
and that's running at 60 FPS, which is great. And that's coming along with a PC update for DirectX 11, which is going to be awesome. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like that's remastered or remade or definitive editioned or whatever on PS4, but you know, you take what you can get, I guess. The Tomb Raider, I thought they did a pretty good job with it. We talked about that
Yeah.
a little while ago on one of our episodes where I actually rented it for a couple weeks, I guess, and I put it through the paces and I compared it like to the PC version, and I actually did a video like kind of A/B back and forth comparing it, you know, through
Hmm.
the intro sequence, and it stacked up pretty well to the PC version. And it actually outdoes it in a couple of areas. You know, they added like some tree swaying and stuff like that. Did they do
Yeah.
anything like atmospheric extra kind of stuff in
You
The
know,
Last of Us, or is it just
not,
like a straight port?
as far as I can tell, it's a straight port.
Okay,
Um,
there's
I
nothing wrong
now
with that.
I did hear some people say they thought like some of the spore areas were was like a little thicker,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go back and actually play. But as far as I understand, it's mostly just a port that has better a little better visuals, and it looks really crisp. It runs really smooth, and
Right.
I mean, if you haven't played the game and you have a PS4, there's no reason not to at least go out and rent it because
Yeah.
it's an experience.
Right. I rented it on PS3 a few months ago, and it was kind of, I don't know. To me, like, I play a lot of PC games for people that don't know, and even Wii U games, most of them run at like 60 FPS, which is funny because it's the least powerful of all the consoles, but has the most 60 FPS games. But the fact is, like, I like to play at 60 FPS a lot, and
Hmm.
uh, The Last of Us was kind of hard for me to get into because it ran lower than 30 most of the time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was kind of tough to play. But you know, I mean, I don't know. I'll give the remaster a try because of that, especially because I'd love to see it running in 60 if nothing else, just to
I
see it.
mean,
You know, it's
what
a
do you
gorgeous
got to
game.
lose?
Well, I got a lot to lose, unfortunately, like $1 or $2 in Redbox.
Oh God, you make me sick.
Wow. So yeah, I don't get paid well, man. So yeah, that's Last of Us Remastered. I don't know. See, I had like a $5 off coupon at GameStop. That would involve me
Okay.
buying something from GameStop. So I think it lapsed today. I
I,
did there was some thing I did on the internet, and it gave me like a they emailed
oh
me
yeah,
a five
code.
dollar off. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
I
So
say but that's where I get all my games from. Sorry.
didn't you
Sir.
work there? Haven't you worked there before?
Yeah, I've worked there twice.
They've worked there twice. Yeah,
I got
exactly.
fired once and I got hired again. No, I didn't get fired. I just worked holiday season with
How do you
my
get
full-time
fired
job.
from GameStop anyway?
You can. No, easily.
Really?
Okay, let me just say
Yeah,
this,
let's
not to
go on.
change subjects
No, that's
here.
good. Let's go.
Everybody thinks that GameStop is the fucking coolest place to work at and that it's so easy. And you know what? It's not. It's not because guess what? First off, you got to deal with asshole customers like in retail. But oh no, no. It gets a little interesting because people like to abuse your systems of return policies. And
Hmm.
it's like, well, I opened it, but I should be able to return it. And they yell in your face. And it's like, dude,
Well,
seriously?
you
It's
sold it to me opened, so I should be able
no,
to return
no, no,
it.
that's the thing. They put stickers on games that are open, and
Oh,
you
okay.
just bust the sticker. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic, which I don't like. I actually don't like the open game policy thing. Um, but really, I mean, there's that. I mean, you got to alphabetize everything, and I will tell you, people, if they don't know their alphabetization, oh my god, it's like you go to get something and it's not there, and especially during the holiday time when they hire,
Oh
like the
God.
part timers like me, like
Yeah.
but I was doing my job. I mean, I've worked there before, even though it was years ago. But we go to look for stuff, and it's like, where the hell is it? And it's like, oh, somebody was dyslexic today, or they put the PS3 game in the Xbox game, and it's annoying. It's annoying. Now it's cool because you work with video games and you can talk about it, but that's what people think. They're like, oh, how hard can it be? You're selling video games and you get to talk about them. Cool. No, no, fuck that.
The
It's a
retail
pain in
job.
the ass.
Yeah, it's a retail job. Retail jobs suck. I would never work
And
another retail job.
and I would tell you what, I think people think they can get away with all kinds of shit at
I won't say
GameStop.
never, but
And yeah, anyways, a small rant over. But
so go work at GameStop. That was this message
yeah.
brought to you by GameStop stores and limited. Blah, blah,
Yes.
blah, blah. This message
Brought to you by Mattel.
brought to you by Best Buy. Competition of used games at GameStop. Don't yeah Best Buy. They accept trade-ins, right? I think so. Whatever.
No,
Anyway,
but I
so
mean, at my GameStop, I know all the people there, and they're They're really cool and they're laid back. But
Well,
I've
that's
been to
good.
GameStops where
Do they
they're
watch
not
your
cool.
stuff?
Do they what?
Do they watch your stuff?
Yeah, some of them do.
Oh, that's good. None of
Yeah.
them here ever watch my stuff, so I stopped doing it.
Well, they must be the asshole ones.
Yeah, they
That's
are
all there is to
the
it.
asshole ones. There's like the only asshole ones are where I live, pretty much.
Stop
That's how it
talking,
is.
asshole.
So, but your verdict on The Last of Us
Oh,
remastered?
definitely. I
Definite
mean,
buy. Definite
yeah,
buy.
it's a definite buy. I mean,
Don't hesitate.
don't
Don't wait.
hesitate.
Uh,
Wait. I was singing a song. Don't
yeah.
hesitate.
That's what I was thinking of the lyrics and I don't
Don't
know.
hesitate. It would be so great. Anyway,
All
I,
right. So this is the last episode Bloody Disgusting listeners will listen to.
no,
No,
actually, I
really.
don't sing normally, so
Yeah,
let's just
he
put
doesn't
that note
sing,
there.
don't worry. And if he does, then we put him in the Tommy Wiseau the room corner. Go to the corner of the room.
Cheep, 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 cheep.
So all right, so moving on, I guess.
Moving on.
Um Man, what were we going to talk about next? We were going to talk about the horror con that I went to yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday, Saturday. So I went to a horror convention for Bloody Disgusting, and
I already knew about this, by the way.
yeah, he knew. But I went for to shoot video and host a little video that I'm gonna edit together. Not little video; it's actually gonna be kind of long. But uh, yeah, it was pretty cool. It's called Monsterama, and it was the first one they've ever done here. And
Really?
yeah, so it was kind of cool getting in on like the ground floor of a new convention. Like launching
Mhm.
one.
Was it
And
was it really big then, or no?
not really. No, it was just one hotel, and it was just like just a few tables
Chill.
with. Yeah, it was nice. It was kind of nice and just kind of laid back. But we got a lot of interviews. We probably did like 9 or 10 interviews total.
So
And
what you're telling me, it wasn't like Comic Con where people
oh
are getting
god, no,
trampled.
no, no, no.
Good.
Dragon Con here in Atlanta is a month. It's a month from now. It's like 26 days or something. I saw the website today.
Because I was
Um,
worried for you.
it is Dragon Con is a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's like 5 hotels big. It's huge. So it's literally an entire like 3 or 4 city block radius of like convention goers just walking across streets and stuff. So that one's going to be tough. But what's cool is I was actually told we're kind of like given priority to get like celebrity interviews and stuff. So we should have a lot
Yeah.
of good content at Dragon Con. But back to this one, yeah, we talked not I mean not a lot of people that mainstream people would know, but I don't know, maybe some Bloody Disgusting fans know. Larry Blameyer, who did a movie called The Lost Skull of Cadavra, and it's literally a parody of 1940s and 50s movies like the Plan 9 from Outer Space kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it's an intentionally bad movie he shot it in 2001 and he shot it like on mini DV, and it's really funny actually. I watched a few clips from it. So he did that, and he did a sequel called The Lost Skeleton Returns Again, which is like
It's
he's
just a
like
cool
intentionally
name.
redundant. Yeah, and he does the cover art and stuff like that for the DVD is done in like the old 50s, like the big lettering is the big swooshing letters downward and stuff like that. Like it looks like a lot of fun to shoot. I don't know to watch, but yeah. Anyway, I also talked to this guy Daniel Griffith who does the documentaries. He does the bonus features on the Mystery Science Theater 3000 discs
He's
for
not
Shout
related to
Factory.
Peter.
I don't think so, but
Okay.
he might be. But he
Okay.
wasn't really that animated. Sorry,
Gotcha.
sorry, I didn't mean to say.
Nice pun there.
So anyway, so I don't know, Lois. Is he over here or not? So he
One of
was
these
there.
days.
He was really cool to talk to, but
That's
he's
good.
done all kinds of other stuff in addition to Mystery Science Theater discs. He has a documentary out called was it Let There Be Light is the name of it, and it's about college film done by John Carpenter and the writer of Alien,
Oh,
and uh, it was like a thesis film, and it basically launched their careers. And it's
wow.
it's pretty cool if you ever get to see it. But he did a documentary on like the making of the film and the behind the scenes of it and stuff like that called Let There Be Light, and that's on that his documentary is actually on Blu-ray and DVD too. So
Interesting. I'm a big fan of Carpenter, and
I
I
am too.
never knew
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. So the film is called Dark Star, by the way. If you ever get to see the actual movie, the actual uh, thesis film they did, but let's see. In addition to him, I spoke to Veronica Carlson, who starred in some '60s and '70s. She starred in some late '60s Hammer horror films. One called Dracula's Risen from the Grave, another one called Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. And when she starred in those movies, she starred. The guy that played Dracula was Christopher Lee
Oh yeah,
from Lord of the Rings and Count Dooku, and everybody
yeah.
knows
He's
him
old.
nowadays. Yeah, he's old now. He was old then too. But that's the thing is she told me some stories about those guys. Off camera, she actually told me a story about the time she hung out with Sean Connery. That was like during his Bond days. She was actually like on set of one of the Bond films, and she got to go on the volcano set. I think it was You Only Live Twice. That was just crazy. And then she told me some other stuff too, just off camera. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Getting to talk to her. I actually watched The Ghoul, another film she did. She
Oh
did
yeah, I've
she
seen the
did that
Ghoul.
film with what's his name? Come on, Peter Cushing. Thank you. But yeah, so she talked about Peter Cushing on that film and told me basically the character he played in the movie lost his wife. And unfortunately, shortly before the film, he actually lost his wife in real life. And there were
Oh,
a lot of parallels there between his character and the film, or his real life self and the film character. And she said like they missed him basically, like he wasn't the same person anymore. It was really sad. I was like, damn. Um, but yeah, she was a really cool interview because she's one of those people that has just tons of stories and stuff to tell you. And
yeah.
yeah, and she still is really pretty, but she was freaking gorgeous back in the day, and that I'm sure lent her a lot of access that most people couldn't have gotten at the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, so she has a lot of tales to tell. Unfortunately, Victoria Price wasn't there. That's Vincent Price's daughter. She was slated to be there. She couldn't make it. I also spoke to an ex ghost hunter who was on Ghost Hunters International, and he now acts and he directs and produces horror movies. And his name's Scott Tepperman. So yeah, there were quite a few people there that I liked. I actually enjoyed talking to, everybody. But we got so much stuff. I don't know that I'll be able to fit most of it in the video and make it a watchable video.
Maybe a
But
director's cut.
maybe I'm probably gonna put the actual interviews up like uncut,
Hmm.
as separate things outside of the video itself that I'm doing. But the experience overall was cool because I'm not a big convention goer and stuff. So getting to go and represent Bloody Disgusting, like I had my Bloody Disgusting shirt on, I found on eBay, so I felt kind of official. It was nice, but yeah, I'm just trying to do the site proud, basically. It's because it's a good site. There were some people there that were like happy to see us there because they were like, "Oh, I love your site. I'm on this site all the time." The guy Scott Tepperman was like, "Dude, I'm on the site like all day long," and I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Aren't I? Aren't I?" To whoever's next to him, and she's like, "Yeah, he's on the site like all day."
It's a great site.
He's
It
always
really
reading
is.
it. Yeah, Brad does a knockout job with all the updates, and the whole staff just like they're just busting their asses all the time. I mean, there's like 100 updates a day on the site. It's crazy. But yeah, it was really cool getting to go and talk to these people, and hopefully I'll put together a decent video and people will enjoy watching it.
I think they'll be very pleased with you.
We will see. I'm not even sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
I don't know
I
why we
figured
chose British.
I figured Veronica Carlson would enjoy the show or enjoy the site rather because of the kind of British connotation of the name. That's
Hmm.
bloody disgusting,
That's
So,
bloody disgusting. Would you
but
have a spot of tea?
she had no idea what I was talking
No
about.
tea.
She had no clue. I was
No,
drunk.
but
I'm just kidding.
seriously, like when it comes to horror
Yeah,
sites,
yeah,
that's pretty much my number one site.
yeah. I mean,
No joke. Not
there's a
not
few
saying that
others.
because we're on it now. I mean, it's serious.
There's a few
Seriously,
others, but hey, it was yeah, there you go. But yeah, the guy in charge of that's actually in charge of Dragon Con as well. So that was kind of
oh,
funny. Yeah. He was supposed to hook us up with the horror track coordinator or director for Dragon Con, but he wasn't around. So hopefully I'll get to meet him, and I'll bring us a lot of awesome coverage for Dragon Con too. So we'll see. So speaking of coughing,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
feeling all right
sorry.
there? Feeling
I don't
okay?
know, man. I
You
don't know if I
allergic?
feel so
You
good.
allergic to bullshit, or is it the Ebola thing?
I think it's a little bit of both.
So,
Uh,
for those of you unfamiliar, I actually asked, by the way, Madeline Brumby, the girl that was in the movie I talked about last week, the exploitation film called Dear God No. I asked her if she used Skrillex as inspiration.
you did?
I did, and I don't think she knew who Skrillex was. But I said, do you know who the DJ Skrillex is? And she's like, oh yeah. And I was like, I said my co-host on the podcast mentioned he wants to know if you use Skrillex as inspiration, you know. And she goes, yeah, I know, like her hair's like halfway across her face all the time. Blah. She's supposed to look, you know, like. And I was like, I know how she's supposed to look. Like it's pretty obvious how she's supposed to look. But yeah,
Uh,
um,
well, bummer. I'm kind of like
yeah.
upset, but that's okay.
Oh well,
What can
just
you Ebola?
wait till you see her reaction on the video. I'm kidding. I'm not
Okay.
actually. But no, what I was getting to is she was a biology major. She actually got a degree, and she's a biologist. She got a degree in biology. And she was in med school, and I think she was pursuing med school, but then she dropped out before that so she could pursue acting instead. And so I took the opportunity to ask her because she's from Atlanta too. I asked her, like, what do you think about the Ebola being 20 minutes from us right now, you know? Because that would seem to be her area, and she was kind of defensive of the CDC, even though they kind of screwed up recently. She's like, well, you know, I think it's the media playing things up, you know, not really, it's not really that big a deal. And I was like, no, I think it's a big deal if something leaks. And you know, because I'm like
Well,
for video game rumor leaks, but not really like deadly virus leaks.
mm-hmm.
That's a
Kind of
different
puts
kind of
things in
thing.
perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think the media hype stuff up, and it's like, they don't make it very clear in these broadcasts that Ebola has to be like transmitted
Yeah, that is
you
true.
know like kind of like a STD. It has to be like bodily fluids. You got to be up on top of somebody, kind of basically, and it's not airborne because if it was airborne, we'd be effed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It is really hard to actually contract from someone. And I don't know, like they said, if someone's not sick, you're not carrying it, basically, right? Like you can't give it to someone like by just,
Without showing symptoms.
right. Like you have to have it basically and be sick from it in order to be able to transmit it to someone else.
Gotcha.
You can't just carry it with you and then, you know, jump off you onto someone else. Like, you know, some illnesses can do that. You don't ever catch it, but it's on your clothing or something. Someone else can, you know, touch your clothes or whatever, and then they'll get it. It's not like that. You have to be a carrier of it because it has to be kind of what is the word I'm looking for? Incubating inside you or something. So, but yeah. Anyway, so I asked her about that, and she thought it was the media's fault that it's being made into a big deal. So, but yeah, the Ebola virus is only 30 minutes from me right now, which is kind of
From
disconcerting.
you.
Yeah, from me. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of disconcerting though because they made it safely, you know, with the one guy that they brought here so far, and I guess now they have to bring the woman that has it, and it just kind of seems to me like, oh look, I ran through this, you know, I don't know, fire or something completely naked and didn't get burned. Let's try that again, and it's like, you know, like it's like, wow, you're really kind of testing your luck now. Like something's gonna
Well, I
happen
I
the
mean, my
second time
question
it
is
did in the first.
why are they bringing them here to work on them? I don't really. I
Um,
mean,
because they have a special facility basically that, you know, at the CDC
mhm,
that can they can quarantine them in and know that they won't be transmitting it to anyone else. That's basically what it
gotcha.
is. Because if they were in, you know, I think they were in West Africa. I'm not even sure where
Yeah,
they were, but you know, they're not getting treatment over there. And what was funny was I read the treatment for the thing is not actually treatment. This they're keeping them in this quarantine room, and they're only allowed to, you know, see family obviously through like glass and stuff like that until they're better. But it's a, you know, it's a virus. It's not a bacterial, so you can't. There's no cure. There's no
yeah.
cure for any virus anywhere. Anyone that doesn't know that, you cannot. There's no cure for viruses. Viruses have to be defeated by your immune system. And so all they're doing is just giving them fluids and keeping them safe in this locked room.
Basically, keeping them totally hydrated,
Yeah,
totally
exactly. And
nourished.
their own immune system has to fight it off, has to get rid of it. So the best we can do for them is just kind of like, you know, keep them safe and out of contact with anyone else. That's basically why they're doing that. But there
Although,
are
part of me can't help but think it's like they're like, yeah, we're the CDC. We're gonna poke them and prod them, and we want to see
oh
what.
yeah, yeah, they're probably gonna because this is the first actual case of Ebola in the United States. It's
Yes,
never been here in the U.S. So yeah, I'm sure it was and it's a couple, like I said, a month ago they had this story come out where some of the staff were caught, kind of not really minding things, and I think they found an open container of smallpox or something like in a storage room, and I don't think like the smallpox was in it, but I think it was like it could have been, and smallpox has officially been eradicated. It's labeled as officially having been eradicated in the public, and the only place it exists anymore is in the CDC, just for experimental purposes
like
for
a museum.
bioweapons and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty much. So the fact that that eradicated disease is just kind of like left lying around untended. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like seriously, like why, why do we have to try to make it not eradicated anymore? I don't get it. So, but that's the thing too is there was lab incident where some anthrax, got moved around from like lab to lab, and people didn't realize they were handling anthrax or something, and it was like, what? Like, how do you not? So anyway, I think them bringing the Ebola patients here and doing it successfully and keeping them, quarantined, and I think it's kind of an effort to kind of a campaign to like reinstate like confidence in their
Yeah.
abilities kind of thing too. Like it's kind of like, oh, this is perfect, like we can bring them here and we're going to get press coverage and we're going to have like helicopters overhead watching them walk into the facility, and they're going to see how professionally we handle everything, and it's like it's kind of like smoothing over all the doubts and stuff that we had about them in the past couple of months. I don't know. So that's just my take on it personally. I also have another take on it, but uh,
Does it involve another song?
no, it doesn't involve a song. It actually involves a word from one of our sponsors. So they wanted me to get the word out about exactly how safe it is for them.
Do you have a little cough? Well, here at the CDC, chances are you've contracted Ebola. With our recent mishandling of various items inside our laboratories, leading to various shutdowns and firings, you can rest assured the zombie apocalypse is nigh. Ebola. Ebola. Don't worry, there's always more where that came from. Ebola.
So they wanted me to get the message out that yeah.
My throat's already closing up. Quick, give me an Ebola.
that's basically it though. So yeah.
That was good.
Thank
I
you.
like
They've got things under control, folks. Don't worry. The Walking Dead is not really happening yet. But that was one of the things I asked. I asked the Madeline girl was, like there are 3 other facilities where they could have brought these people to in this country. They had to choose the one where The Walking Dead happens.
I
Like
know.
seriously. I mean, why can't you just, for my own sake, take them to Seattle or something? I don't care. Just. I mean, I don't know. Grunge is dead anyway, so who cares? Whatever. Whatever. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight, because we have a little time to get to it, is I've been replaying this game on 3 games on my Wii U, which is amazing because my Wii U's getting use. But anyways, speaking of 60 FPS games, uh, this trilogy actually came out 5 years ago this month on the Wii, and I'm talking about the Metroid Prime trilogy.
Oh wow.
Did you ever play those?
Yeah, I played all 3.
You played all 3 just one time because you couldn't stand them. But
Just one time because of my insanely backlog, but yes, one time.
Right,
But they're
yeah.
awesome.
They are awesome. Yeah, I've played through the first Metroid Prime several times. The second one I played through, I think this is my 3rd time playing through it, and the third one I played a couple of times too. But the first one is probably my favorite. I don't know, maybe the third one because I like the way that it kind of just streamlines things. But Anyway, I'm almost through the second game again. I'm at the end where you're hunting the keys, trying to unlock the last palace,
Oh,
the
okay.
last temple, and yeah, the dog agrees. But that's the thing is, the second one gets a lot of flack because it does things a little. I think it's a little over designed. I think that might
Hmm.
be what I would say about it, my criticism, because whenever you are going, the light world, dark world mechanic, um, whenever you're going for collectibles and things like that, there are some that you have to go to the dark world and then back to the light world, then back to the dark world and back to the light world again. And it's just like every time you have to do that, you have to sit through this little loading screen. You have to watch this little cutscene of her, disappear and reappear like the Wonka Vision thing. You know what I mean? Like she just gets like zapped into like a million pieces and she's flying over Charlie's head. But that's the thing is you have to watch like this cutscene. You can't skip it every single time, and you do that 3 or 4 times in a row just for like a stupid missile expansion, and it's like, wow, why did I have to do all that crap? But and it's really meticulously designed. There's basically no flaw in the game world at all. Like everything is placed there for a reason. You know what I mean? Every
Yeah,
nook and cranny was designed the way it is with like a vision in
specific.
mind. Yeah, it's very very specific and incredibly polished. It's a really really solidly polished game. The thing is, like, I think that kind of works against it because, like I said, there's just a lot of bloat there that was kind of, I don't know, it was just kind of unnecessary, I think. So,
Well, I
um,
also think that I think people don't really like. I've noticed a tendency with games that have a similar mechanic of having to get into something to protect yourself from taking constant damage.
yeah.
I think just like I think people don't like that mechanic. It's just like,
I,
oh crap, it's
I hate losing health all the time. It
yeah,
sucks. Like,
it's
you get a suit, I don't know, an hour into it that really, really slows that down.
yeah,
And then eventually you get the light suit and you don't take damage in the dark world at all.
exactly.
But you don't get that till close to the end of the game. But yeah, I don't really have a problem with that aspect of it. It is kind of it can be annoying. You're stuck without one of those little domes, the light domes, for a while. And you're just getting slaughtered by enemies. I have to say this too. The Wii version's actually dumbed down a little bit difficulty wise. I played the GameCube version initially back in 2005 or whatever, whenever it came out, and it was a pretty hard game. I remember that specifically because it was, I don't know. There are times in the game where, without the little hint option, I would be screwed. Like I wouldn't have any clue where to go. And I still got lost a couple of times in this playthrough, and I just
Where's
like,
Don Allen?
oh,
I
it's
don't know.
crazy.
He's that
I'll
way.
I'll look up an FAQ because I don't have any problem looking up walkthroughs because if I'm waiting
Yeah.
for the hint system to tell me where to go anyway, that's basically an in-game walkthrough. So I don't. It's not really any different. It
You
just saves
cheater.
me. Yeah, it saves me 20 minutes from the game telling me. Like you have to wait so long for the game to tell you to. It's stupid. But yeah, it's like I said. I think that's another thing where it's just kind of too over designed. They had a really really specific place where you have to go next sometimes, and it's like way over there, or wow, really? I would never have thought to look there or something. So that's just kind of the stuff that works against it. I'm only talking about the second one because I'm currently playing through it. I played through the first one last week, and that one still holds up, but it's, I don't know. I guess it'll always hold up. It's just graphically, it's kind of getting really dated. Like the art still really holds up, but the textures and everything are just really basic. There's not really. It almost looks like it should be cell shaded at this point or something because there's no detail on anything. And then the third one when I get back to it, hopefully, uh, I guess this coming week because I'll probably beat the second one tomorrow again. Yeah, I'll definitely try to keep an open mind about the opening of the third one was weird because it came out around, it was 2007 when it came out, Metroid Prime 3. And that was the same year Halo 3 came out. And Halo 2 came out the same year that Metroid Prime 2 did. And Halo 2 went and did these like astronomical numbers. You remember?
Yeah.
I think it sold 2.4 million copies in a day, if I'm not mistaken. Halo 2 did. And that, I mean that's crazy by today's standards, honestly. But um I think that had an effect because Metroid Prime was like Nintendo's only kind of first person shooter ish kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not a first person shooter in my mind, but it's their only franchise that even came close to it. And
Yeah.
in the second game, they actually had multiplayer. I don't know if you ever played that, but there's like split screen multiplayer in the second game.
I
And
never touched it.
yeah, it's really basic. Like there's lock on, so I mean, there's not really any
Yeah.
competition there. But that was the thing was Halo went and did these like astronomical numbers, and I don't know if Retro was hoping to kind of catch more, because the whole point behind the Wii obviously was a more casual gamer, and I think they kind of streamlined the opening to make it more of like a cinematic kind of Halo-ish kind of thing. And
Hmm.
that's when they put voice acting in and all the stuff that they hadn't done to that point. And that turned a lot of people off. I think it did the opposite of what it was intended to do. I think it was meant to, they figured, well, we've got the fans of the first two, they'll play this one, so let's try to get new people into it. So they went with this kind of more, I don't know, more traditional at that point kind of opening, and it's just kind of a turnoff at this point because people are worried. They're like, I don't want to play Halo, I want to play Metroid, and then
Yeah.
you know, so
I just looked at it as kind of an exciting way to get you into the game, get you going, and then it's kind of like, all right, now that we've got you past that introduction tutorial, the setup, now I'll let you explore, do your thing.
right. So it's just like I don't know. Yeah, once you get past the intro, it turns straight into a Metroid Prime game again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
But of
intro
course, you
is kind
you
of
get
boring.
people that don't get past that part, and they're like, it sucks.
Well, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Is there's a lot of people that just couldn't get past it. Okay, so yeah, I was right by the way. Halo 2, 125 million dollars in its first day, and it sold 2.38 million copies. Cool. Or Florida just fell through. I'm just kidding. But no, it sold 2.38 million copies in its first day. Yes. I don't know why I remembered that. Oh, that's U.S. and Canada. Never mind. They cheated. Fuck you, Microsoft. All right. Well, anyway. So yeah. So or Halo 3, Metroid Prime 3, tried to do the Halo thing. I think at the beginning, and then it turned people off, and then the rest is history. They stopped making the games. They went on to Donkey Kong. And yeah. So I also got Donkey Kong Country Returns for my 3DS, by the way.
So do I.
It's a really cool game. It's
It
it's
is.
a really good port. Speaking of ports, it's almost like a remastered version,
Yeah.
kind of, sorta.
Except it's only 30 frames instead of
Yeah, it's
60.
it's kind of a demake, demaster, is that what you'd call it? Anyway, how long have we been going now? I think we've been going for
Oh, I
like
think
40
we're
minutes.
almost an hour.
Is it?
About to hit an hour.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right then. You have anything else you wanted to add tonight? Anything else we should talk about? We should address anything
I
that
think the
there's
I think
specifically
the only
missing
the only
missing
the
from
only
our
thing
podcast?
the
Is there
only
anything
thing
at all
that,
missing? Nothing.
I just want to say, do you think
No.
that we will be enjoyed and liked by the bloody
I
disgusting
don't know. I
fans?
really don't care though. I mean, that's up to them. No, the thing I'm afraid of is, I'm if the podcast gets put up on the site, it's not like, okay, I have to say it's not being on Blade Disgusting. It's like they're going to link to our iTunes, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
so Bloody Disgusting has official podcasts that they do, and then they're going to have affiliated podcast with us. So that's kind of what it
Awesome.
is.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, hopefully they enjoy the show, and hopefully you guys will tune in next week where we'll talk about God knows what. If you liked what you heard tonight, you can find me on Twitter. It's at Don Allen. You can find Justin on Twitter. It is at SlasherJPC, correct?
Yes, correct.
You can find Justin on YouTube. Do you still do YouTube stuff?
Yes, I do.
Okay. That's also Slasher JPC, right?
Yes.
And I do YouTube stuff. My channel is F'd Up TV. It's FDUP TV. You'll find everything that I do for Bloody Disgusting on that channel. And you'll be able to listen to all of our podcasts that we've done. You have to understand, Justin and I, we're not new to podcasting with each other. We did the podcast back in 2010 for a gaming site that I was affiliated with at the time. Then that site went away. The end of last year, we decided to pick the podcast back up again, and so we've been doing it for this entire year, save for
Yeah.
a couple of months. So there's a backlog of episodes you can go and listen to. There's descriptions of what we talked about. They're titled so that you can kind of get an idea of what they're like. We're on SoundCloud, we're on iTunes, and I also put the podcast up on YouTube. just in case you're scared of the other two things for whatever reason. And so you can find it there. And I also do the fake ads that you heard tonight. The Ebola thing is up there.
Ebola.
That's up there. You can find all the other ones that I did prior to that tonight. I have kind of a collection building
I had
up
a
now.
question.
Sure.
They might have a
Shoot.
question about. Do
What's
we
that?
have anywhere that they can send us questions to be answered possibly on podcasts?
You can send questions that you may have for Justin and I. I think it's whateverpodcast@gmail.com, or you can just send it to donallendoes@gmail.com because that's my
Or
direct
just tweet
email
us.
address. Yeah, you can tweet to us.
Just hashtag whatever.
Facebook.com/whateverpodcast. I mean, we have a lot of outlets where you can actually reach us. We didn't just jump into this yesterday. Like I said, we've
We put
kind of
ourselves everywhere, but we're actually nowhere.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
we're nowhere yet. So hopefully, if you guys like what you heard, like I said, go check out all the links that I mentioned. I'll put them in the article attached to this podcast, and to make it a little easier for you. And then definitely check out all of our stuff and like it on Facebook if you can, because
If you don't, we're
that
gonna
means
be
something
really
to
mad.
some people. It doesn't really mean
Yeah.
anything to me, but
We
hey.
don't care. We don't care.
And at the end of every episode, we play this song and we say, Justin, did you learn anything tonight?
Yes, I learned that a small con can be a great con, and that's just a good thing.
A small con can have its pros.
And its cons.
Okay, so
Con.
next week, I'm not even sure what I learned tonight, by the way, so I'm just skipping it.
You always
I
ask me. I gotta ask you, Don Allen. What did you?
learned. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what I learned. I learned Metroid Prime 2 still holds up, and it gets undeserved hate. I don't think it deserves a hate. I do like when people say it's the worst game in the franchise, and I'm like, well, the worst Metroid Prime is still better than 99% of games out there.
Yep.
So I'm cool with that.
I use that with God of War as well.
Oh, do you? Well, that's
I was
true.
like,
Yeah, because you and I both agreed that the last one was good.
Ascension was good, but a lot of people hate it. And I'm like, oh, even if it's the worst one, it's still better than like 99% of games out there.
It's still better than Dante's Inferno. I don't know about Marlo Briggs. It's pretty good.
Isn't that game about basketball?
Yeah. What did somebody say? Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Mark. That's right. The Room review on Steam said, "Oh, hi, Mark."
Oh, hi, Mark.
So, yeah, definitely. We got to pick up a movie and like figure out what we're gonna do. We have to like riff something again. We have back episodes, guys. You should listen to our episode where we talk. We played clips from The Room, like I played tonight, and like just laughed about it. It was crazy.
That
And then New
and
Year's Evil.
Clown.
Yeah, what was that one? Stitches. Yeah, we did Stitches. That's relevant to that audience. And then
Oh crap! The song ended.
the other one. Yeah. So anyway.
It means it's time to go.
Oh, does it? What did you learn tonight, Justin?
Groundhog's Day.
All right. So
Thank
that's
you,
about
everybody,
it
for
tonight.
tuning in.
Yeah, definitely. And please come again next week. Until then, everybody, take care of yourselves and each other.